Tonight, while you sleep, your body is not resting as quietly as you think. Every night after the age of 60, your cells enter a critical repair window, a window influenced by melatonin, blood sugar, cortisol, inflammation, deep sleep, and the tiny energy engines inside your cells called mitochondria. But one common bedtime mistake can quietly weaken that protection before midnight even begins. And the most concerning part is this: many people who eat clean, walk every morning, take supplements, and believe they are doing everything right may still be making this mistake every single night. I'm Dr. Caleb Rowan, and today I want to walk you through a prevention conversation that many people never hear in a rushed doctor's visit. This is not about fear. It is not about claiming that sleep habits magically cure cancer. It is about understanding how your nighttime biology works, why it changes as you age, and what you can do tonight to support the repair systems your body already has. Before we begin, subscribe to Dr. Caleb Rowan and hit the like button if you want more science-based health strategies for older adults. And comment night below if you ever wake up around 2 or 3 in the morning and wonder why your body keeps doing that. Most people think cancer prevention is something that happens during the day. They think about what they eat for breakfast, whether they walked enough steps, whether they remembered their vitamins, whether they avoided sugar, processed food, or too much stress. Those things matter, but there is another part of the story that is often overlooked. Your body does some of its most important cellular maintenance at night. When the lights go down and your nervous system begins to shift into rest mode, the body is supposed to move into a very different state. Hormones change, body temperature drops, insulin should become quiet, cortisol should be low, melatonin should rise. Your brain begins clearing waste. Your immune system recalibrates. Your cells begin repair work that is difficult to do when you are awake, eating, stressed, scrolling, or exposed to bright light. That does not mean that cancer cells suddenly become active only at night, and it does not mean there is one magical hour when everything goes wrong. Biology is more careful than that. But emerging research in circadian biology has shown something very important. When the rhythm of day and night is repeatedly disrupted, cancer-related pathways may be affected over time. The International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified night shift work as probably carcinogenic to humans, not because every person who works at night will get cancer, but because long-term disruption of circadian rhythm, light exposure at night, sleep timing, melatonin signaling, and metabolic regulation appear to matter. That is the key word: rhythm. Your body is not just a collection of organs. It is a timed system. Inside that timed system, the night is not empty space. It is scheduled repair time. During healthy sleep, the body moves through cycles of deep sleep and REM sleep. Blood pressure normally dips. Heart rate usually slows. Growth hormone rises early in the night. Cortisol should be near its low point around midnight and gradually rise toward morning. Melatonin rises in darkness and helps tell the body that night has arrived. When this rhythm works well, your cells receive a clear message. The day is over. Stop processing new inputs. Reduce stress signaling. Repair damage. Recycle what is broken and prepare for tomorrow. But if the signal is scrambled, the repair window becomes less efficient. Imagine trying to clean a restaurant kitchen after closing time, but customers keep walking in, the lights stay bright, the stove stays on, the phones keep ringing, and the manager keeps shouting orders. The cleanup crew may still try to work, but it will not work the same way. That is what late eating, alcohol, stress, bright evening light, poor sleep timing, and elevated nighttime cortisol can do to your body. They keep the body in a daytime state when it should be shifting into nighttime repair. One of the most important messengers in that nighttime shift is melatonin. Most people know melatonin as the sleep supplement on a pharmacy shelf. They think of it as a pill people take when they cannot fall asleep after travel or stress. But biologically, melatonin is far more interesting than that. Melatonin is a hormone your brain releases in response to darkness, mainly from the pineal gland. It helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle, but it also interacts with oxidative stress, immune function, inflammation, and mitochondrial health. In laboratory and clinical research, melatonin has been studied for its antioxidant properties and its role in protecting cells from excessive oxidative damage. Oxidative stress is not always bad. Your body uses oxidative signals for normal immune defense and cellular communication. But when oxidative stress becomes excessive or poorly controlled, it can damage proteins, fats, and DNA. DNA damage does not automatically mean cancer. Your body has repair systems for a reason, but repeated damage combined with weak repair is the kind of environment we want to avoid, especially as we age. Melatonin appears to be one of the nighttime signals that helps keep oxidative stress from getting out of hand. It is part of the reason darkness matters. The problem is, that melatonin signaling often becomes weaker and more fragile with age. Many older adults do not get the same strong nighttime melatonin rise they had at 30 or 40. Some of this may be related to changes in the pineal gland. Some may be related to light exposure, medications, chronic illness, stress, and irregular schedules. The result is familiar to many people. Over 60, you get sleepy in the chair at 8 o'clock, then feel strangely awake at 10:30. You fall asleep, but wake up at 2:15. You lie there with your mind running. You finally drift back to sleep before the alarm, then wake up feeling like your body never truly repaired. When that happens occasionally, it is part of life. When it happens night after night, it becomes a pattern, and patterns matter. A single poor night of sleep will not cause cancer. A week of stress will not undo your entire health. But years of disrupted nights can influence blood sugar regulation, inflammatory tone, immune resilience, appetite hormones, blood pressure, memory, mood, and cellular repair. That is why I want you to stop thinking of sleep as only rest. Sleep is maintenance. Sleep is regulation. Sleep is biological housekeeping. To understand why this matters, we need to talk about mitochondria. You have probably heard mitochondria described as the power plants of the cell. That is true, but incomplete. Mitochondria help produce ATP, the energy currency your cells use to function, but they are also involved in cell signaling, stress responses, inflammation, and the decision of whether a damaged cell should repair itself, pause, or in some cases, self-destruct. That self-destruct process is called apoptosis. It sounds alarming, but it is one of your body's safety systems. When a cell is too damaged to safely continue, apoptosis is one way the body prevents that damaged cell from becoming a bigger problem. Think of your cells like a factory. Every day, billions of products are made. Most are fine, some have defects. In a healthy factory, there is a quality control manager walking the floor, checking the machines, stopping the line when something is wrong, and preventing defective products from being shipped. Mitochondria are part of that quality control system. They help sense cellular stress. They help determine whether the cell has enough energy and stability to continue. They help regulate signals that tell a cell to repair or stop. But when mitochondrial function becomes strained, that quality control process can weaken. The manager is still in the building, but he is tired, distracted, and missing mistakes. This does not mean cancer automatically develops. It means the environment becomes less ideal for long-term cellular health. And this is where the night becomes so important, because your body needs a predictable nighttime state to perform some of that quality control work efficiently. One of the major nighttime cleanup systems is autophagy. Autophagy is the process by which cells recycle damaged components. Mitophagy is a more specific version of that process, where damaged mitochondria are identified and recycled. This is not exotic science. It is basic cellular maintenance. You do not want old, damaged cellular parts piling up indefinitely. You want the body to take out the trash, reuse what it can, and rebuild with better materials. That work is influenced by nutrient status, insulin, energy demand, sleep quality, and circadian rhythm. A key player here is AMPK, a cellular energy sensor. When your body senses that energy intake has paused and it is time to use stored energy more efficiently, AMPK can become more active. That activity is one of the signals that supports cellular cleanup. This is why the timing of your last meal matters. If you eat late, especially a meal or snack rich in sugar or refined carbohydrates, you are asking your body to digest, absorb, release insulin, manage glucose, and process calories at the very time when it should be shifting into cleanup mode. This is the simple way to remember it. The cleanup crew cannot fully start while the kitchen is still open. If you eat dinner at 6:30 and go to bed around 10, your body has time to process that meal before sleep. Insulin has a chance to come down, digestion begins to settle, your core temperature can drop, your nervous system can move into a calmer state. But if you eat at 9:30 and go to bed at 10, your body is not entering sleep as a repair system, it is entering sleep as a digestion system. The lights may be off, but metabolically, the kitchen is still open. This matters even more after 60 because insulin sensitivity often declines with age, especially if there is extra belly fat, less muscle mass, poor sleep, chronic stress, prediabetes, or low physical activity. A late snack that a 40-year-old body clears easily may sit differently in a 70-year-old body. Blood sugar may remain elevated longer, insulin may stay higher, reflux may worsen, body temperature may stay up, and when the body is busy processing food, sleep quality can become lighter and more fragmented. The mistake many people make is assuming the snack is harmless because it is small. A few crackers, a bowl of cereal, a banana, a glass of milk, a handful of cookies, a piece of toast. Maybe it does not feel like much, but your metabolism does not measure intention. It responds to calories, timing, sugar, protein, fat, and hormones. For some people, even a small late snack can be enough to delay the metabolic shift into repair mode, especially if it comes with bright screens, stress, or alcohol. Now let's talk about the 2 or 3 in the morning wake-up pattern, because this is where many older adults recognize themselves. They fall asleep, maybe even easily, then wake up suddenly around 2 or 3. They are not always anxious. They may not be having a nightmare. They simply wake up, alert, uncomfortable, sometimes warm, sometimes thirsty, sometimes needing to urinate, sometimes with their mind suddenly running. Many people dismiss this as aging, and yes, sleep changes with age. But frequent waking at the same time every night can also be a clue that your nighttime physiology is not fully settled. Cortisol may be part of that clue. Cortisol is not a bad hormone. You need cortisol to wake up, respond to stress, regulate blood pressure, mobilize energy, and survive. In a healthy rhythm, cortisol is usually lower at night and rises toward morning. But chronic stress, alcohol, late eating, poor sleep, pain, blood sugar swings, sleep apnea, certain medications, and circadian disruption can cause cortisol to behave less predictably. If cortisol rises too much in the middle of the night, it can increase alertness and push glucose into the bloodstream. Your body may interpret that as a need to wake up. Blood sugar can also be involved. Some people wake because their blood sugar drops and the body releases stress hormones to bring it back up. Others may have higher nighttime glucose because of late eating, insulin resistance, alcohol, or stress hormones. Either direction can disturb sleep. This is why people with diabetes, prediabetes, or hypoglycemia tendencies should not make drastic changes to meal timing without medical guidance. The goal is not to starve yourself at night. The goal is to create a steady, safe, predictable metabolic rhythm. This connects to cancer biology in a careful way. Many cancer cells use glucose differently from healthy cells. This is often discussed through the Warburg effect, where cancer cells rely heavily on glycolysis, even when oxygen is available. That does not mean sugar alone causes cancer, and it does not mean avoiding all carbohydrates cures cancer. Those claims are too simplistic, but it does mean metabolic health matters. Stable blood sugar, good insulin sensitivity, healthy body composition, regular movement, and quality sleep all help create a more resilient internal environment. So when I say the night matters, I do not mean you should be terrified of every bite of food after sunset. I mean the repeated pattern matters. If night after night your body is exposed to late calories, late alcohol, bright light, poor sleep, and elevated stress signaling, you may be reducing the quality of the repair window your body depends on. And if you are over 60, or if you have a personal history of cancer, or if you are trying to protect your long-term independence and health span, this is a window worth respecting. Let me tell you about a man I'll call Robert. Robert was in his mid-60s, a retired engineer, the kind of person who tracked everything once he became interested in a problem. A few years earlier, he had been treated for early-stage prostate cancer. His PSA looked good. His follow-up visits were reassuring. On paper, he was doing well, but Robert did not feel well. His sleep was broken almost every night. He would fall asleep around 10:30, then wake around 2 in the morning with a strange alertness. Not panic, not pain, just awake. He would lie there for an hour, sometimes longer, then drift back toward sleep, just before morning. At first, he was told what many older adults are told. This is normal aging. But Robert was not satisfied with that answer. He began tracking his evenings in a notebook. What time did he eat dinner? Did he snack? Did he drink wine? Did he watch television late? Was he on his phone? Was the bedroom warm? How many times did he wake? How did he feel in the morning? He did this for months, and because he was an engineer, his records were unusually precise. A pattern began to appear. On nights when he ate within 90 minutes of bed, he almost always woke around 2. On nights when he had wine after dinner, the wake-up was more intense. On nights when he watched a bright screen in bed, his mind felt sharper and more restless. But on nights when he finished dinner earlier, dimmed the lights, skipped alcohol, and kept the room cooler, he slept longer and woke less often. Nothing mystical, just a pattern his body had been trying to show him. When he discussed this with a clinician who understood circadian health, the question changed. It was no longer only, how do we knock you out so you stay asleep? The better question was, why is your body waking you at 2 in the morning? That distinction matters. A sedative may keep someone unconscious, but it does not always correct the underlying rhythm. Sometimes the issue is not simply sleep. Sometimes the issue is timing, light, glucose, alcohol, temperature, stress, and a nervous system that never receives a clean nighttime signal. Robert did not fix everything in one night. He made simple changes in sequence. He moved dinner earlier. He stopped the late snack completely. He changed bright overhead lights to warmer, lower lamps in the evening. He stopped watching his phone in bed. He made the bedroom cooler. He discussed supplements with his care team rather than adding everything at random. Over several weeks, his 2 a.m. waking became less frequent. His morning energy improved. His mood improved. He felt more confident because he finally understood the pattern. Now, I want to be very clear. Robert's sleep routine did not treat his cancer. His cancer care came from appropriate medical treatment and follow-up, but improving his sleep rhythm supported the body he was living in after treatment. It improved the terrain. Less late-night stress, better sleep quality, better morning function, and a more consistent repair window. That is the point. We are not replacing medical care. We are protecting the biological systems that medical care often does not have time to discuss. So what should you actually do tonight? I call this the mitochondrial night reset. It is not complicated, but it does require consistency. And the first step is the most important. Stop eating 3 hours before bed. If your bedtime is 10 o'clock, your last calories should be around 7. If your bedtime is 11, your last calories should be around 8. Water is fine. Plain herbal tea is fine, but calories should be finished. No cookies, no crackers, no cereal, no spoonfuls of peanut butter, no just a little fruit, no late glass of wine disguised as relaxation. The reason 3 hours works better than 1 hour is that your body needs time. After a mixed meal, insulin rises as nutrients are absorbed. Depending on the meal, your metabolism, and your insulin sensitivity, it can take several hours for that process to settle. A 3-hour buffer gives digestion time to move forward before you lie down. It may reduce reflux. It may help blood sugar become more stable. It may allow body temperature to drop more naturally, and it gives the nighttime cleanup systems a better chance to begin without competing against a new food load. There are exceptions. If you use insulin, diabetes medication, or have a history of low blood sugar at night, speak with your clinician before changing meal timing. Some people need a planned evening snack for safety. That is not failure. That is individualized care. But for many adults without those issues, the 3-hour cutoff is the highest impact change because it costs nothing, requires no prescription, and directly targets one of the most common bedtime mistakes. The second step is a 90-minute light ramp down. This is where many people get it wrong. They buy blue light glasses and then sit under bright overhead LED lights. Or they turn on every ceiling light in the kitchen at 9:30 while telling their body it is time to sleep soon. Your brain does not only respond to blue light, it responds to brightness, timing, distance, and contrast. Bright light at night can delay the signal that tells your brain darkness has arrived. 90 minutes before bed, begin lowering your light environment. Turn off overhead lights where possible. Use warm lamps at eye level or lower. Choose bulbs that look amber or soft white rather than bright white or blue white. Keep screens away from your face. A television across the room at low brightness is usually less stimulating than a phone 6 inches from your eyes. The phone is the most dangerous little light box in the house because it combines brightness, closeness, emotional stimulation, and endless novelty. This does not mean you must sit in darkness like a monk. It means you are creating a sunset indoors. Your body evolved with a gradual dimming signal. Modern homes replace sunset with ceiling LEDs, tablets, phones, and late-night news. You have to rebuild the signal intentionally. After a few weeks, many people begin to feel something they have not felt in years: natural sleepiness. Not sedation, not being drugged, just the body recognizing that night has arrived. The third step is temperature. Your core body temperature naturally drops as part of the sleep process. A room that is too warm can interfere with that drop, making sleep lighter and more restless. For many adults, a bedroom around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit supports sleep quality, although comfort and medical needs vary. Some older adults are sensitive to cold, so do not force yourself into shivering. The goal is cool, not uncomfortable. Use breathable bedding. Wear socks if your feet get cold. Consider a fan, cooling pillow, or lighter blanket if the room runs warm. Temperature matters because sleep is not just a brain event. It is a whole body event. Your blood vessels, skin, heart rate, breathing, and nervous system all participate. A cooler room can help the body make that shift more smoothly. If you wake at 2 in the morning overheated, sweating lightly, kicking off blankets, or feeling restless, look at temperature, alcohol, late meals, and stress together. They often travel in a group. The fourth step is to be honest about alcohol. Many people use alcohol as a sleep aid because it makes them feel relaxed at first. But alcohol can fragment sleep later in the night. It may reduce sleep quality, worsen snoring or sleep apnea, increase nighttime urination, raise body temperature, and interfere with the normal architecture of sleep. It can also affect melatonin signaling. That is why someone may fall asleep quickly after a drink, then wake at 2 or 3 with a dry mouth, racing thoughts, or a pounding awareness of their heartbeat. You do not need to hear a moral lecture about alcohol. You need the physiology. If you drink, move it earlier, reduce the amount, and do not use it as a nightly sedative. For many people over 60, the difference between one drink at 9 p.m. and no drink after dinner is the difference between broken sleep and a more stable night. Test it for 2 weeks and let your own body give you the data. The fifth step is supplement caution, because this is where people often jump too quickly. Melatonin, magnesium, glycinate, and CoQ10 are all discussed in relation to sleep, mitochondrial function, and cellular health. But none of them should be treated as magic. None of them replaces cancer screening, oncology care, sleep apnea evaluation, blood sugar management, or a good evening routine. Supplements work best when the foundation is already in place. Melatonin may help some people shift circadian timing or improve sleep onset, but dosing should be thoughtful. More is not always better. Some people feel groggy, vivid dreams, headaches, or mood changes. Melatonin can interact with medications, including blood thinners, seizure medications, diabetes drugs, blood pressure medications, and immunosuppressants. People with autoimmune conditions, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people on complex medication regimens should speak with a physician before using it regularly. The safest message is this: do not use melatonin as a shortcut for a chaotic nighttime routine. Magnesium glycinate may be helpful for some people because magnesium supports many enzyme systems, muscle function, nerve signaling, and relaxation. The glycinate form is often better tolerated than magnesium oxide or citrate, which can cause loose stools in some people. Many adults use it 30 to 60 minutes before bed, but people with kidney disease should be especially careful with magnesium supplements and should ask their doctor first. If your kidneys are not clearing minerals properly, supplementation can become risky. CoQ10, especially ubiquinol, is often discussed for mitochondrial energy support. It may be relevant for some older adults, especially those taking statins, because statins can lower CoQ10 levels, but CoQ10 can also interact with blood thinners like warfarin and may not be appropriate for everyone. Again, this is why I want you to think like a clinician, not like a supplement shopper. Start with timing, light, temperature, alcohol, and consistency. Then discuss supplements intelligently if you still need support. There are also foods that can support the evening rhythm when used correctly. Tart cherries and tart cherry juice have been studied for sleep-related benefits, partly because they contain melatonin and other polyphenols. But be careful with juice if you have blood sugar concerns. A small serving earlier in the evening may be different from a large glass right before bed. Walnuts contain healthy fats and small amounts of melatonin, but they belong with dinner, not as a midnight snack. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, or mackerel provides omega-3 fats that support cardiovascular and brain health, and a balanced dinner with protein, fiber, and healthy fat is often better for nighttime stability than a refined carbohydrate meal. The worst evening pattern is usually not one food. It is the combination: a late heavy dinner, dessert, alcohol, bright lights, a stressful show, phone scrolling in bed, and a warm bedroom. Each factor alone may be tolerable. Together, they can push the body away from repair and toward stimulation. The best evening pattern is also a combination: an earlier dinner, a clean cutoff, dim light, calm routine, cool room, and consistent sleep time. That combination tells your cells, your brain, your hormones, and your mitochondria the same message: the day is over, repair can begin. Now, I want to pause for something very important. Some symptoms should not be handled with a bedtime routine. If you have unexplained weight loss of 10 pounds or more without trying, call your doctor. If you have persistent deep bone pain, especially in the spine, hips, ribs, or pelvis, get evaluated. If you have a sudden major change in fatigue, not just normal tiredness, but a sharp drop in your ability to function, do not ignore it. If you have drenching night sweats that soak clothing or sheets, especially if they are recurring and unexplained, you need medical attention. And if you have a history of cancer and something feels meaningfully different in your body, do not wait for a YouTube video to reassure you. Call your oncology team or primary doctor. That warning is not meant to scare you. It is meant to keep the hierarchy clear. Lifestyle supports health, food supports health, sleep supports health, but symptoms need diagnosis. Prevention does not mean pretending red flags are normal. The strongest patients I know are not the ones who avoid doctors. They are the ones who combine medical care with wise daily habits. For tonight, keep it simple. Choose your bedtime. Count back 3 hours. That is your final calorie time. Count back 90 minutes. That is when the lights begin to dim. Make the room cool and comfortable. Keep the phone away from your face. Skip alcohol close to bedtime. Do not turn the evening into a second workday. Give your body a real night. And when you wake tomorrow, pay attention. Did you sleep more steadily? Did you wake at the same time? Did you feel warmer or calmer? Was your mind racing? Did you have reflux? Did you need to urinate multiple times? Your body is giving you data. One night does not prove anything, but 2 weeks of consistent data can teach you a lot. Robert found his pattern because he paid attention. You can do the same. The goal is not to fear the night. The goal is to use the night. Your body already has repair systems built in. Melatonin signaling, mitochondrial cleanup, glucose control, cortisol rhythm, immune surveillance, deep sleep, and cellular recycling. But those systems need the right conditions. They need darkness. They need timing. They need metabolic quiet. They need consistency. They need you to stop treating bedtime like an afterthought. After 60, protecting your health is not only about adding more supplements, more tests, more opinions. Sometimes it is about removing the interference, remove the late snack, remove the bright light, remove the bedtime alcohol, remove the overheated room, remove the idea that waking at 2 in the morning is always just normal aging. Your body may be asking for a cleaner signal. Tonight, try the 3-hour eating cutoff. Dim the lights 90 minutes before bed. Keep the bedroom cool. Be careful with alcohol. And if you are considering melatonin, magnesium, or CoQ10, especially if you take medication or have a cancer history, talk with your doctor first. If you notice red flags like unexplained weight loss, persistent bone pain, sudden severe fatigue, or drenching night sweats, do not experiment first. Get evaluated. Your night is not wasted time. It is a daily opportunity to restore the systems that protect your energy, your memory, your independence, and your future. If you are going to try the 3-hour eating cutoff tonight, comment reset below. Subscribe to Dr. Caleb Rowan for more science-based health strategies for older adults, and share this with someone over 60 who needs to protect their sleep, their strength, and the quiet repair work happening inside their body every night.